Hey everybody, Mr. Kreider again. I know, your favorite teacher, another video. Lucky you guys. Let's go over 1.5. So, same big ideas as always, nothing new there. Human environment interaction. So, let's go to concept of nature and society includes sustainability, natural resources, and land use. Sustainability is this idea that we are not consuming more resources than can be replenished. Sustainability means that we're living in a way that is not harmful to the environment. And just so we're clear, it's not just about the environment, but it's about us living in that environment. So if we're not living in a sustainable way and we're kind of consuming all the resources, humans cannot live. So the idea of sustainability, although it's about protecting the environment, it's about protecting the environment so that we are protected and that we can continue to live and thrive. So sustainability has to do with any kind of development that serves the current needs of people without making it harder for people in the future to live as well. This is a modern problem with mass consumption and increased population density with a lot more people in the world and people living longer. We are just placing a greater burden on the environment. This concept is so important that the United Nations has developed 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We cover all of that in Unit 7, but just know this concept of sustainability is an important concept that kind of follows throughout the course. Natural resources are materials or substances such as minerals, forest, water, and fertile land that occurs in nature and can be used for economic gain. Managing all of these natural resources is very important as overconsumption is a major threat. If we analyze that consumption, it's shown that historical methods of conservation were not effective in slowing down the decline. So we have to make better choices now to protect those natural resources that are kind of important to us, and it keeps us alive and kind of moving well. That's also why we have to look for new ways to protect the natural resources and move to new ways of consumption. Think of solar energy and wind energy. Those protect natural gas and oil preserves that we're not consuming as much anymore. And that keeps us to be sustainable, and that's what matters. Land use is the way we use land, and it reflects the societies using the land, and some land uses has major impacts on the environment. Land use is everything from housing to sports parks to subways and roads to airports to you name it. We all use land in different ways. How that land use is done, though, or the way we protect the land when we use it, is very important concepts. So there are two ideas when it comes to human environment interaction with human societies and the environment that kind of are ideas. The first one is environmental determinism. Cultural ecology is the study of how humans adapt to the environment, and this is an early theory of cultural ecology. The idea of environmental determinism is that human behavior is controlled by the environment. So this is a historical use of this is how we justified slavery. This is how we justified imperialism around the world from the Europeans, was that my environment is better than yours, therefore I can do whatever I want to you. So the idea that human behavior is even controlled or determined by the physical environment. A temperate environment, one where there is not great big temperature changes, is good. A tropical environment is bad. And that's kind of the justification or kind of the basis of it. The opposite of this ideology is the ideology of possibilism. And this is the idea that the environment is merely a limiting factor in societal development, but not the only factor. So if you went to environmental determinism, it was saying that people in Africa were suffering because their environment was bad, and that's just because of them, and they deserved everything that happened to them. Possibilism argues that they didn't have the right technology or resources to overcome that environment. So if we think about even most of Southern California or Southwest United States, we're a desert. We have overcome that environment through the use of water movement. So by able to control and move water through the desert, we've allowed people to live. And that's possibilism. It's the ability to kind of interact and change the natural environment, that humans have an impact on that when it comes to development. So here are some examples of those water districts. And that is it for 1.5.